Let me introduce you to the composting toilet. So this is one of my weekly chores. On Moonshot we ripped out the original black water tank. The reason for that, the black water tank was right here. Yep, right here. There is a joker valve, I believe that's what they're called. That's supposed to let the excess black water out if it does overflow. But there is a berth right on top of that, so the smells permeate, it seeps through the plastic. I didn't like that. That's kind of like where my kid was supposed to sleep. So we ripped that out and we replaced it with a composting toilet. And what is a composting toilet, you might ask? It's basically kind of like the old school cassette toilet, except it's got a separation between the number 1 and the number 2. And for the number 2, you need to replace this coconut coir. I hope I pronounced that right. On a weekly, well, depending on usage, but for us it's definitely weekly. We let it lapse once, and I've got a comic for that. It's a humorous look as to what happens if you don't replace them on time. But yeah, let's get started. This is the coconut brick. I think this is the more cost-effective way to get the coconut peat. The other way would be to buy them pre-moistened in a small little package. They're great in a pinch because you can skip all of this, and you just pour them and you save a lot of time. But I sit on the computer a lot, and I figure I might as well get a little exercise out and while saving money. So yeah, GoPro, stop recording. So the easiest way to break down the coconut coir, I've learned, is to not break it from the side but to strike it from the top. They're almost what do you call that, compacted. I think there must be some kind of hydraulic that compacts them like this. So the weakest point is from here, and as you can see, it flakes off much easier than if you were to try and break them off from the top. So that's kind of like along the compression lines. I don't think we need much more than that. It will still expand when we pour water on it. I think it will take up about double the volume or something like that. And if you buy the prepackaged bag, they're really not that big. They're kind of like a small to go back, and it's not even fully filled up. You know, like there's probably about a couple of this in the bag, and they cost about $10. Is it $10 or $5 per package, which is a lot. You definitely get more bang for your bucks doing it this way than getting the individual package. You also help the environment a little, as this is just one plastic bag as opposed to you know, cute little packages. And size for the usage. Okay. So yeah, I usually just break them apart like this, and then if you notice when it's dry like this, the color is reddish, very earthy, almost orangey. Once they're wet, they look brownish, like darker brown, like a forest humus or forest trail. And I think just that slight damp is the trick. You don't want to overdo it. you don't want to underdo it. It needs to absorb moisture. If you don't pre-wet it, it won't absorb moisture. If you wet it too much, it turns into a nightmare paste. Yeah, my neighbor joked that it's a lot like cooking. There is a certain amount of just right that you have to go for, or it ruins, well, the food. The pre-processed food. You notice it's darker brown. That's probably the color that you're going for, not this. So we're gonna try and spread that moisture around to try and make the rest of the bucket look like that. And if you notice, the volume is rising already. It's now about 2/3 full. When you have a traditional, come to the pump out station, which is by the fuel dock, and pick up your waste. So your own crap. But so what we have here is an Otoh composting toilet. It is a waste separating composting toilet, meaning it has a slit for number 1 and then a trapdoor for number 2. It opens like that, and that inside is the coconut coir and waste that I wouldn't get into. So maintenance wise, it is more hands-on, but it's not too bad. The number 2 is actually smell kind of pleasant. That's why I joked about it in a comic. It smells like a forest trail. So it's the number 1 actually that is a bit iffy. They have a very strong pungent smell. So let me pull this up. That's what it looks like inside. For the Otoh one, this red light comes up when the number 1 is full, so it's time for me to take it out. There is a latch, one on each side, and it comes off just like that. And then I gotta take that outside. I don't like to have to carry this on shore. If we are offshore, I think 50 miles out, it doesn't matter, it goes off to the side. But since we are in the harbor, we do what we need to do. And I've got a bucket, like a Home Depot bucket with gamma lid, and that's where I'm gonna pour this temporarily. So these buckets are what I'm talking about. Now, to keep my channel family friendly, I'm not gonna show the content inside, but you can see it's just a regular Home Depot bucket with gamma lid. This was supposed to be leak proof once you seal it. So very easy. I want to pour that container over into those buckets, the 5-gallon buckets, so I can batch the work to once a week. I don't have to run this to the toilet every day. So yeah, I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna turn off the camera for now so you're not grossed out. Go for it. Start. Yep, recording. I just poured the content, and now sealing the bucket. Goes over like that. There is a rubber O-ring around the lid, so it is leak proof. periodically, and by periodically I mean once a week. I take that cart, goes to the shore, and pour it in the restroom. Easy. So tablet in there helps with the odor. Since this has been over a week, and especially after the California trip, although that's supposed to help, it gives time for the waste to actually compost, as long as you don't keep pumping into it. So now about the number 2, this has to come out because it's a little tight in here. I have to open the trap door, get it down. This thing actually doesn't smell too bad, and they're not too messy either. I just wrap them in plastic like that. Make sure it's tight. Flip them over. There you go. See how it looks like the fertilizer that you buy from Home Depot? And it smells better than that. It really smells like earth. I can put that into work. So let me take this trash out. If you have any suggestion with reusable plastic bag for this purpose that is strong and it's not going to create a mess, I'd love to hear it. Yeah, I've got a couple of bags ready to go already here. Now that I took that out, it's time to put more coconut coir. I usually fill it to about half. So this is just the same stuff. And that I broke out a couple minutes ago. Goes in there just like that. I think that's enough for this one. Goes back in. There you go. Put that container back in. Lock it in place. Now the warning light, I don't know why, but it stays on for a little while, but it goes away usually after a few minutes. So yeah, now I just have to do the same thing in the other head. Just have to squeeze it somehow. Cover the bucket completely before flipping it over. Gonna need another plastic bag. And I'm gonna flip it over next to the other trash. And then we want to fill it to about how. Okay. The cleanup is done. This is how the head looks after all that work. Similarly with the other head. Sure, that may not be the most glorious, but how many homes has a shower with a water view and a skylight?